This is the World Innovators Podcast with your host, Donna Peterson.
Today, I am so intrigued. I am going to be sitting down or standing up as I am with Liane Caruso. She is a franchise marketing consultant. Now, I've done some work in the franchise space, but not a lot. So I am very interested to hear what she has to say about marketing in general, marketing in the franchise space, and then, as always, how does she energize herself to also energize what she does at work? But before I get started, I am Donna Peterson, and you are listening to the World Innovators Podcast, where we will be sitting down with marketing executives, business owners, talking about marketing, what's working, what's not, but then how do they energize themselves to also energize what they do with work? So Liane, great to have you here today.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity, and congratulations on your new podcast.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, like I said, I am just so excited to hear from you about the franchise space. You know, we worked a little bit together, but that was new for me. So I thought we could talk about that. But how did you get into marketing to begin with?
So I went to college for marketing, and I graduated with a degree in marketing. My senior year in college, I started working for a marketing agency, and I haven't stopped since. Of course, some bartending gigs in there in between, as young 20-year-olds do. But yeah, I've been in marketing, and it's just kind of evolved over time. I just absolutely love what I do. In fact, my daughter yesterday, she said, "Why do you do what you do?" And I said, "Because I love small business ownership. And I love helping people realize their vision and being successful." And I think that's what marketing can help them do.
Yeah, definitely. I did a video recently when I was younger. My mother, you know, she started this company 40 years ago, and she used to tell me it was like eating peanuts. You know, every day she went to work, you know, you couldn't stop because she, like you, liked helping the clients. And at the time I was in college, I'm like, what? You're working? Who wants to be working?
Right.
But, you know, now that I sit there, I look at marketing with every client like a puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, sometimes the puzzle is all perfect on the table and you're like, yes, this looks beautiful. And then it falls on the floor.
Right.
And you have to start all over again.
Right.
So
Maybe that piece wasn't supposed to go there.
yes. Well, and also the way things have changed recently, sometimes it works. And then, you know, 6 months later, that's not working anymore.
Right.
So the puzzle has to get all redone.
Everything is changing so fast, and to keep up with it, and marketing has changed so much. I mean, just from, you know, back when we used to be able to do direct mail and touch and hold and feel things, and then now we're bombarded with probably, you know, thousands of messages every day that we look at when we're on our phone and social media, and it's harder for marketers to make things work. And I think it's just a continued challenge that we have to face.
It is. And I feel like even when you get to that point where you know the new thing, something new comes. You're always doing it. My mom, you know, started it was a direct mail company. So it was all direct marketing and postal lists. And, you know, we had to evolve. If we didn't evolve, we wouldn't be here. So like you said, you have to always be educating yourself on the next marketing, you know, option that's out there. But you'll have, I'm talking to my cousin the other day and I'm saying something about the podcast and she says, "Oh, how great, you've gotten on the internet." And I'm like, what are you talking about? And her mom was in a similar business. She goes, "Well, I remember my mom, she only did direct mail with postal." And I said, we couldn't have survived. We wouldn't be here 40 years later if you didn't go on the internet.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, like, can you imagine? Even though I see direct mail is coming back a lot.
It is, because digital is saturated.
Yes.
You know, you can't get in front of people. You know, LinkedIn, and we'll probably talk about this, but the email inboxes and the LinkedIn Messenger and all of those places are so saturated, which is what happened to direct mail. You got so much stuff in your mail box, you just threw it away, and you didn't touch it, feel it, do all of the things that you need to do in order for it to soak in or take advantage of that marketing opportunity. And now digital is so saturated, so everybody's going back to direct mail.
It is. It is. Well, and there's so much you can do with direct mail now. It's no longer just sending out a plain letter. You
I
know, I've
know.
seen advertisements from cars manufacturers where it smells like a new car when you open it up.
Oh, cool.
Or they have the leather, like the leather steering wheel that they would have. And so you can touch it. And so it really hits all your senses,
Yes.
the direct mail pieces that they now can send. So it's fascinating.
Yeah, I agree. I actually was just having this conversation with a mutual contact of ours right before this call, that we were talking about how do you get in front of this certain kind of person, right? That they own, 50, 60 franchises, or, they've got a lot going on, and big corporation executives, like how do you get in front of those people? And this person actually told us, well, it's not going to be my email inbox. A drip campaign is not going to work. It's not going to be social media because I'm not going to see that. He said the thing that works now is send me a letter, send me a package.
Wow.
And that is what I will touch and feel, and it'll be right there, and then follow it up with a phone call.
Yeah.
I definitely, for the last few years, I've said direct mail is almost the way to go again, because you have to, otherwise it just scrolls through everything else. If you're on digital, and I'm a digital marketing girl, so.
Yeah, well, I know we all went there because that's how, the messages could get out quickly also. But I agree with you. And on the direct mail side, I think it gives a company a lot of validity,
Mhm.
because it is very easy. As you know, you could rent a list for 100,000 emails and start bombarding them with emails over and over. And some people don't stay to the opt-in policies or compliancy policies, so they'll just bombard people. Where direct mail, if you go and actually make a direct mail piece, the postage, the list, everything, it's very costly. So I think when people realize they get a direct mail piece, you know what? Hey, this company really is where they say they are. And,
Right.
and they're also around for the long haul.
Yeah.
They're not interested in that one-off sale. They want to, build a rapport. So it's good.
Sorry about all the dog and the phone,
Oh, hey, it's
Welcome
life.
to virtual life.
So now, how did you ever get into the franchise space?
Well, in 2009, I started my own company when my son was about 3 months old. And I started in social media. This was back when Facebook business pages were just getting launched. I didn't really know what I was doing. Somebody asked me to help. I think that I helped a local massage envy franchisee who was a friend of mine, helped a couple of other small businesses. And it worked because I figured it out. I started to help build content and engagement. And this was back when you could actually see your posts in business pages. And so I just kind of kept going in this lane, like this is great. This is working, and what a cool platform to be on top of. And so then I built my company going to other marketing companies and PR companies that had to learn to evolve and build social media programs. So PR firms had to evolve. They're not just a media company anymore. Now they have to build social media as part of the PR piece. It's not just being in a printed magazine. So I started working with other agencies and started building social media services for them, and building social media teams and strategies. And through that, I started working with franchise brands. And then that just kind of grew and evolved. And I think once you get into franchising, while it's an extraordinarily large industry, it is very small. And those who get franchising kind of stay in franchising. And you have opportunity to grow with franchising and also with the trends. Because I've been on the agency side for most of my time, I've seen the insides and the guts of all of the franchise brands, and I've had the opportunity to learn and grow and really understand marketing programs, both on the consumer side. So, say a local daycare, understanding what they need to attract students and build their client base and build awareness with their parents and so on through social media and digital marketing and direct mail when they first open, and public relations, building their plans, and then also understanding from the franchisor side, they need franchisees. So understanding both sides of it in a marketing capacity has kind of really helped me grow in franchising, and I love it. Like just when I started the beginning of this, I love helping businesses grow, particularly small business. And if you consider a franchisee, these guys put in a lot of times their life savings, and they want to open a business, they want to open a gym, or a service-based, a home-based painting company. Or the franchisor, they were likely a small business at one time that figured it out, and they grew, and they, added 1 to 2 more, and then added 100. So I love franchising and marketing for franchising. So I got in, and then I didn't really get out.
Once you get into those specific niche areas, like you said, you have so much history too. You know how certain people maybe have moved from different companies, but you've also seen how marketing has evolved within the franchise space. And like you said, it's very interesting to me, the franchise space, because you said you have those two sides, right? So you're trying to get people to enroll or visit the franchise as customers. So you're on the consumer side almost. And then you have the, where you're trying to sell the franchise. So you're looking for business owners. But then part that I didn't understand until I started helping you a little bit was that multi-unit side.
Yes.
Like for me, I never thought of, and I don't know why, I just thought of people buying a franchise, they would work on that one franchise. I didn't realize people would go and kind of, make a diverse portfolio of different types of franchise. So maybe, yes, they would have a daycare, but maybe they would have a gas station, or what's another good one, a shake one, or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize they would do that, make their portfolio diverse when it came to the franchise.
Yeah. And as with anything, diversify your portfolio. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. So yeah, I mean, there's people that own 50 Taco Bells and, 20 Orange Theories. I'm just I'm making that up, but multi-brand, multi-unit owners are really the sought after ideal franchisee prospect for franchise brands. Also, if you consider people who own a retail space, and they've got a health food store here, and then they also own the gym next door, what a win-win. Or you've got the guy who owns the garage door company, and they also do painting. You're going after the same target market, so why wouldn't you kind of continue to build on that? Or a maid company or house cleaning. So it is really interesting. And then for franchisors, if they want people to buy more than just one, if they're successful with one, open 3, open 5 in your area. And it's a lot easier to have 50 franchisees that with 100 units than to have 100 franchisees with 100 units. So yeah, it's interesting.
That's where it comes. I think I've seen and this probably will go into our next question, what are the biggest trends you've seen in 2021? But I've seen there's a lot more push towards branding and relationship marketing. And I would think, especially with the price of buying a franchise or multiple franchisees, you definitely have to build a relationship with these people. They're not going to respond to a one-off email like buy a franchise. Oh yes, that's what I'll do today.
Great idea.
Why didn't I think of it?
Yeah.
I had this money sitting on my desk, so I thought I'd give you a call.
Figure out what I was going to do with it.
I remember I was talking to one of the people at the company we worked together, and they said, well, Donna, why don't you buy a franchise? And I'm like, well, I'm not sitting with that amount of money just sitting on my desk. So, silly me.
Yeah.
So what do you see as your biggest, trends for the rest of 2021?
It's interesting because, 2020 kind of kicked everybody on their butts trying to figure out what to do. And interesting, franchising is going to come out very, very strong from it, and already has. It didn't take too much of a dip, surprisingly. Certainly there's some brands who struggled, gyms, restaurants, and so on, but there's some brands who did extraordinarily well. And so it was a big opportunity for people to readjust and figure out, what am I going to do with my life? They probably got let go. They have money in the bank. They're trying to figure out, mentally everything changed. I want to be happy. I want to build my own thing. I don't want to be, and these small business owners, these mom and pop shops that couldn't make it because they didn't have the support of a bigger franchise system. So oftentimes we're seeing those people coming into a system now in the event that anything massive were to happen, that they've got support from more places than just themselves. So now we've got a bigger pool of people to fish for.
Right.
We're all fishing from the same pond, and we're all going after the same person. So it's really been interesting because the relationship piece of it has been more difficult because we can't be face to face and we can't be in person. So everybody's gone digital. And I don't know if you've been on LinkedIn, and I love LinkedIn, but it is so saturated in InMail and posting. And it's like people are thinking this is the magic bullet because this is their new networking or this is their new relationship building. So we're really having to think outside the box. And I think the way we do that is diversifying our strategy, because everything support, a rising tide lifts all boats, so if we're here, and here, we can try and get all the people. But if we're focused only on here and everybody else is focused only on here, then that becomes a big challenge. And I don't know that there's one thing that's working over another thing, but they've all become increasingly difficult. And I've seen podcasting work. I've seen franchise brands starting their own podcasts, which is really interesting. I've seen franchise brands doing Facebook Lives. So instead of getting that face-to-face relationship, they're trying to build relationships through audio and video.
Through educating.
Yeah.
I'm a big proponent on that. Give.
Yes.
The more you give, people will see you, they'll start to listen. You might, through educating, I would think you would get people that maybe weren't even thinking about a franchise, but after they listen a few times to a podcast or a Facebook Live, they're like, you know what? I'm ready to make a change. I want to own something that's mine.
Yeah, I think it's really all about content. Yeah. And then the traditional, not that content isn't traditional marketing, but the traditional lead generation strategies are a supporting role. I think you have to have a funnel-based strategy. You have to go out there, brand awareness, try to get people who didn't know that you existed. And that's going to be through these content strategies. That's going to be through top of funnel social media. And then start nurturing them through video, the middle of the funnel, and then your more stronger lead generation tactics, because these people are getting hit so many times, thousands of messages every day. But I think the strongest thing that I've seen is this content, audio, video, Facebook Lives, educational resources. I have one brand who is doing franchising 101 webinars every month. Yeah. They're teaching people how to become a franchise. And it doesn't matter if they go with them as a franchise brand. They're teaching people, this particular company in general is veterans in transition. They're trying to help veterans in transition. If our brand works, great. If not, here's the tools that you need to be successful in business ownership. Yeah. I have another client that's doing, like I said, they started a podcast. They have their very first franchisee, and every week they walk them. They're making it open to anybody who wants to listen about the processes, challenges, good, bad, talking about their real estate issues. And I'm invested in these two women who are opening this franchise brand. And I'm like, I hope they're going to get that property.
Yeah, yeah.
But they have this story and they have this journey forever now for anybody who wants to go, look at this brand or see what it's like to become a franchisee. So people who are kind of thinking outside the box, becoming relatable and real are, I think, the ones that are going to win in the end.
I totally agree. And like you said, that's just a nice thing to have this franchise thing for the veterans to give them something else to work on. And I strongly believe the more we give, you'll get back, even though that's not why you give, like for me,
Right.
I just like to give, like I like helping out at different things. I don't want people to say thank you. I don't need to be recognized. It's just
Right.
something I like to do.
Right.
And this morning I was reading my book at Fanocracy. It's by David Meerman Scott. And he was talking about Duracell. And Duracell, the battery company, when there were hurricanes or different things, they would show up with trucks full. I think it was called Power Truck, I'm not sure. But they would go and just hand out batteries so that people could put the batteries in their flashlight. And they said that for us, one, makes them feel great because they're helping, but then they end up getting some customers for life.
Sure.
And they were talking about this one mother who came and asked for batteries of all different sizes. And usually people would only ask for the one kind, like for their flashlight. And they said, ma'am, why do you need so many batteries for all different sizes? And she said, because I've got a 3-year-old who has several different disabilities and is on different machines.
Mm.
And like they said, that woman will be a loyal customer of ours for 20 years. And we've helped her out. We've helped their son.
Yes.
So it's amazing what happens when everyone stops worrying about the selling and starts thinking about the giving and educating people.
100%. Yep.
And I think that is good. And I think that what the company is doing, like you said, it's almost like a TV show you want to watch, like how do they transition along? And then that's when people might sit there and say, you know what? Hey, that's what I want to do.
Right.
And
it doesn't cost you anything.
No.
It costs you your time. You're already, they use their weekly check-in calls as the podcast. So they're already having the conversation. They're just opening it up to everyone else. And it doesn't cost them a thing to do this. And I love it.
You're right. That's exactly how I started this. At first I'm like, those doubts get in your head, like, who the heck would want to listen to this? And like, oh my God, I'm not going to do this. And then I started to talk to some of the people. I'm like, Donna, just do it. And it ended up, all I'm doing is recording my conversations that I normally have with clients or business people, because we're always talking about marketing.
Right.
And I think the people I deal with are all nice, reputable people. We've all been in the industry for years. We understand the value of that relationship and building loyalty. None of us, you don't want to sell just one franchise.
Right.
Your goal is to hopefully sell lots and then help each individual company help themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a great way to go.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So now my final question, because I don't want to hold you too long. I am passionate about health and fitness. And I think that when we energize ourselves, it definitely parlays into our work, keeping us energized and thinking innovative outside the box, like you said.
Yes.
So what do you do that helps you stay energized?
So for me, I drank the orange Kool-Aid and I'm an Orange Theory addict. I go at least 5 times a week. I take my kids to school at 7 a.m. and I'm at Orange Theory by 7:30 a.m. So if you take the Orange Theory away from me, I will be grumpy. It will not be good. In the past year, over COVID, I started taking tennis lessons. Luckily, I've been in Florida this whole time, so I have the opportunity to go outside. And so every Tuesday morning, I take tennis lessons, and which has been great. I am not traditionally an athlete, so it's just a nice way to get outside, do something different. And then I also just started doing yoga, so I do yoga once a week, and that's my calm.
Zen? That's your Zen?
I've got 2 kids. I'm a single mom, so I've got my own business. It's so much. It's the only way, like if I don't have my time to energize and to regroup, it's not good. So I am 100% with you. And it fills me up, and it helps me stay strong and stay motivated, and I love it.
That's great. I have to tell you, tennis, what I love about tennis, and I wish I played on a regular basis, when you're having a bad day, there is nothing like taking a ball. Like you can almost see the person's face who's causing the stress in your life. And it's like,
Yeah.
I have to say, sometimes the ball goes outside the court.
Right. Fine. Right. I love it. I love it. And now my son, he's 11, and he's definitely not an athlete. He's, video gamer, introvert.
Yeah.
He started playing tennis. So
Nice.
now we're starting to take lessons together and playing together. And so that's been fun, just to keep us outside, keep us active. And I feel like without the active and the energy, it just, nothing flows right.
Yes.
And so I completely agree with you.
Yeah. This winter we were in North Carolina visiting my father-in-law, and all four of us, my daughter, my son, and my husband and I, will go out and play tennis. Now, none of us are experts, but it is still something where we can go out. We have a few laughs. Sometimes we get a little argued, there might be some yelling, but in the end, we're all just outside. Like you said, we're at least outside talking, giggling, whatever. And it's nice
great.
doing it.
Right.
And then in regards to yoga, I'm with you. Between trying to run a company, take care of the kids, your head feels like it's always going.
Yes.
There's nights when I'll lay in bed and I'll start like, okay, you know what? I have that interview tomorrow and I have to do this. And I've had nights where I've literally put a list recommendation together in my sleep, and I wake up thinking it's done.
Right.
And it's not done. And I'm exhausted because I've done it all night long in my sleep.
I know. It's the only time that I can go in and get in a place that actually kind of shuts me down.
Yes.
I don't know how, but I've tried to do the virtual, which I've done a couple of times, but when I go there, it's the only one that shuts me down. And I do the restore yoga, so it's stretchy, so it complements my my working out. So I can stretch at the same time, but just kind of calm my brain for at least an hour.
I always like those ones, because if I'm sitting too still, I don't get much out of that. So I try to do more of the stretchy type yoga, because I kind of need to move in order to feel like I'm getting anything.
Me too.
It's probably our type A personality,
Yeah.
We just have to be doing
It's like the opposite of what we're trying to accomplish here. Can you move now?
How much longer?
Again.
How much longer do I have to sit here? Or you start peeking, they tell you to close your eye, and you start to lift your one eye to see if anyone else is moving.
Right.
So.
I know.
Well, Liane, I have to tell you, this was so enjoyable to sit down and talk with you. And I was really interested in the franchise space and hearing more about it. I'm more interested in it. So thank you very much for sharing with us. And I hope you had a good time with us.
I did. It was great. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. And it's always great to connect with you.
Good job. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the World Innovators Podcast. For more information about today's topic, email us at dpeterson@worldinnovators.com or call 860-210-8088. And please make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a future episode.